Tēnā koutou katoa, shalom, and good afternoon. In line with the theme of this year's Holocaust Remembrance Day, I've been asked to tell you how an exceptional non-Jewish woman saved me, my brother John, and many other Jewish people in Budapest. We were a professional, secular Jewish family, comfortable but quite aware of troubles ahead. My uncles and grandparents, looking for a safe refuge, got to New Zealand in 1939. Also, the family had turned Catholic before the war, hoping to avoid persecution. We had a nanny, Hirschu, who came from a small country village and was part of our family. When I was 6, she was hospitalized with TB, but on her release, she kept in touch with us. The war reached us seriously in 1942, when my father was drafted into a Jewish forced labor unit where he died within 4 months. My mother struggled on, running a musical kindergarten to supplement her widow's pension. In 1944, the regime became more extreme, and Nazi-influenced regulations came into force. We all had to wear a yellow star, had a curfew, and our house was designated with a Star of David. Relations moved in, one family to a room, to concentrate Jewish residents. Anush kept visiting and taking us children out, tearing off the yellow star. She tried to persuade the adults to go into hiding, and with her help, some did. In November 1944, in a final push by the Nazis, all women under 40 in our area were rounded up at dawn and deported, my mother included. We found out later that she was taken to Dachau, then Bergen-Belsen, and died shortly after its liberation. Our relations put John and me into a Red Cross home, where Anush found us, and within a short time took us to live with her and some Jewish friends she was hiding, using false names, false papers for us as her own children. The papers were not good enough to withstand scrutiny, and so we couldn't go down during the bombing to the underground air raid shelter. This was lucky for us when the back of the building near an ammunition dump was exploded one night. I still bear the scar. And it was those trapped in the shelter who were killed. We escaped from the burning house and walked to another house where Anush had a flat. She hid us through the rest of the siege and the bombing, scavenging for food in the rubble, even getting meat from a freshly killed horse. After the end of the war, she took us to her village, where her family fed us and cared for us. On our return to Budapest, we made contact with the relatives in New Zealand, and after great struggles with bureaucracy at either end, were able to set out and reach our grandparents via England and a long boat trip. After we left, Anush had a relapse of TB and died within 6 months. We mourn her as our second mother. We grew up happily in Wellington. I studied, married, and started a family. Then I became friends with Margaret Shields and worked with her on women's issues and politics. When she became Member of Parliament, she visited Yad Vashem. At her suggestion, when she came back, we started proceedings to proclaim Anush righteous among the nations, for having saved us. We had to get testimony from the two friends we had lived with, as they were adults and John and I had been children. This was painful for them, but made us realize the extent of the rescue operation. While we were living with Anush and her two friends in hiding, we were only dimly aware of other people around us. In fact, Anush and her brothers were hiding many people from the authorities in a network of apartments they rented. We learned that her brother worked in the Ministry of the Interior, which disbanded, allowing him to keep a case full of blank identity documents that could be used to save people. But while others helped, it was Anush who, with great resourcefulness and immense courage, was the strong-minded leader of the group. The Yad Vashem process succeeded, and a certificate and plaque were sent to her family village in 1992. Anush's name is also on the pillar commemorating the righteous in the courtyard of the Budapest synagogue. I keep in touch with the younger generations of the Hirschu family and made this collage to ensure that Anush's heroic deeds are remembered. And I'm going to put it here.